Good day, it's December 3rd, 2022, and we're just 21 days to Christmas Eve. I'm Esmeralda Padilla-Gould, and welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Sam Buban. We begin with the top stories of the week that dominates the headlines. After a 9-week trial for a seditious conspiracy that resulted in the January 6, 2021 attack of the U.S. Capitol, a federal jury convicted Oath Keepers founder Stewart Rhodes of masterminding the plot to violently subvert the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden, finding him guilty of seditious conspiracy against the United States government. The jury also convicted Rhodes' ally, Kelly Meggs, the leader of the Florida chapter of the Oath Keepers, of seditious conspiracy. However, the same jury acquitted 3 co-defendants, Jessica Watkins, Kenneth Harrelson, and Thomas Caldwell, of joining Rhodes in that conspiracy. All 5 defendants, however, were found guilty of additional felony charges, including obstruction of Congress. Stewart Rhodes' conviction is the most significant outcome from the Justice Department's wide-ranging investigation of the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol, when dozens of Oath Keepers joined the mob that stormed the building and chased Congress, and including Vice President Mike Pence, into hiding.
They don't fix this shit. We're gonna
You think this is one fucking day?
Millions of Americans are out
To protect the Constitution of the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic! Let's go, man! Go!
Watch out! Watch out!
Rhodes faces up to 20 years imprisonment for the seditious conspiracy conviction. The other defendants could also face 20-year maximum sentences. It took the 12 jurors 3 full days of deliberations before reaching a verdict on November 29, 2022. Except for defendant Jessica Watkins, all defendants were guilty of tampering with evidence. Kelly Meggs, Harrelson, and Watkins were found guilty of conspiracy to prevent members of Congress to discharge their duties.
As legal troubles pile up for former President Donald Trump, the appointment of a special counsel that will investigate the case relating to the Mar-a-Lago documents and the January 6 investigations. Jack L. Smith, who was appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, shows signs of a more serious phase of possible criminal indictment against Donald Trump at the completion of the special counsel's investigation. If you recall, the U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear an appeal by Donald Trump's attorney after the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals rejected Florida U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon's favorable petition for an injunction and appointing a special master to oversee the documents seized by the FBI in Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The case was remanded back to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals based in Atlanta, Georgia, and the oral argument took place last week. During the said oral arguments before the 3-judge panel in the 11th Circuit, Trump's attorney James Trusty was asked if there ever has been a precedent that a U.S. district judge would issue an injunction over what Judge Cannon claimed as equitable jurisdiction. Trump's lawyer, James Trusty, said there was none he could point out to. But a day later, lawyer James Trusty submitted a few pages of brief asserting a case they found where Judge Eileen Cannon's action has a precedent in a Rudy Giuliani case. But immediately, on Thanksgiving Day, Special Counsel Jack L. Smith wrote a letter to the 11th Circuit saying that James Trusty's assertion of precedent is wrong. Rudy Giuliani's case had different circumstances, and the judge's action in that case is not in any way similar to the Mar-a-Lago case that was acted upon by Judge Cannon, a Trump appointee. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals have concerns that Judge Cannon may have overstepped by inserting herself into the case. Trump lawyer James Trusty used the word raid in the Mar-a-Lago search warrant, but immediately a judge told Trusty that a lawful search warrant execution should not be described a raid. For that, lawyer James Trusty apologized.
The Department of Justice has long recognized that in certain extraordinary cases, it is in the public interest to appoint a special prosecutor to independently manage an investigation and prosecution. Based on recent developments, including the former president's announcement that he is a candidate for president in the next election, and the sitting president's stated intention to be a candidate as well, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint a special counsel. Such an appointment underscores the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters. It also allows prosecutors and agents to continue their work expeditiously and to make decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law. The special counsel will conduct parts of the first investigation I just mentioned. The investigation into whether any person or entity unlawfully interfered with the transfer of power following the 2020 presidential election, or with the certification of the Electoral College vote held on or about January 6. This does not include prosecutions that are currently pending in the District of Columbia or future investigations and prosecutions of individuals for offenses committed while they were physically present on the Capitol grounds on January 6. Those investigations and prosecutions will remain under the authority of the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. The special counsel will also conduct the investigation involving classified documents and other presidential records, as well as the possible obstruction of that investigation. Today, I signed an order appointing Jack Smith to serve as special counsel. The order authorizes him to continue the ongoing investigation into both of the matters that I have just described and to prosecute any federal crimes that may arise from those investigations. Mr. Smith is a veteran career prosecutor.
Special Counsel Jack Smith was charged by the DOJ to investigate violation of espionage law relating to possession in Mar-a-Lago of top-secret documents by Trump, and also to investigate the conspiracy to replace legitimate electors with fake electors to cast votes for Donald Trump in the Electoral College voting in the Capitol. The investigation may result in criminal indictment of all conspirators in the fake elector schemes.
In the Georgia criminal investigation by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis relating to Donald Trump and his allies' efforts to overturn the 2020 election of Joe Biden, all who had fought against appearing before the special grand jury have lost in their lawsuit to block subpoena to appear. Trump's former lawyers, including Rudy Giuliani and Senator Lindsey Graham, were compelled to appear before the special grand jury. The most recent loser was former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows appealed at every turn on every unfavorable decision against him. But he reached his last stop when the North Carolina Supreme Court ordered him to appear in the Georgia special grand jury to answer questions about his involvement. District Attorney Fannie Willis' investigation shows that Mark Meadows went to Georgia himself. We will be back with more after a commercial break, so please stay with us.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to the Pulse. Carrie Lake, a Trumper Republican who ran for governor in Arizona and was defeated by Katie Hobbs, the Democrat, still had not conceded her loss to Katie Hobbs and continued to spread lies about election fraud, following the footprints of Donald Trump in the 2020 elections. MAGA Republican-heavy Cochise County refused to certify the election results as of last week, based on a few voting problems and imagined election fraud. Another MAGA Republican county of Lucerne in Pennsylvania also would not certify their election results in that county, where a MAGA Republican, Mehmet Oz, lost his bid for the U.S. Senate against Democrat John Fetterman, and the gubernatorial candidate Josh Shapiro, a Democrat, also won the election. Multiple lawsuits has been filed to compel them to certify the election results.
The 118th Congress will start on January 3rd, 2023. And this is where it stands right now on its composition. In the House of Representatives, it's 222 for the Republicans, which allowed them to take the majority, a mere 5-seat majority, while the Democrats took 213, but by November 28th this week, a Democrat re-electionist, Congressman Donald McAkin of Virginia Congressional District 4, died from colorectal cancer. That creates a vacancy in that Democratic district until the Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, calls for a special election. So, for now, the Republicans has 222 seats and Democrats 212 and 1 vacancy. If Congressman McAkin had survived, it would have been 222 Republicans against 213 Democrats, a 5-seat majority for Republicans that is considered a very slim margin. The Republicans have not yet elected a Speaker of the House, as the now very fragmented Republican conference are not yet all behind California Congressman Kevin McCarthy. He is encountering oppositions from different factions in the conference. On the Democratic side, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York is poised to take the position of House Minority Leader, as Nancy Pelosi indicated that she won't seek a leadership position in the Democratic caucus, but would remain a member to represent her district in the San Francisco Bay Area.
In the U.S. Senate, the Democrats was able to hold on their control of the chamber with 50 senators plus the Vice President Kamala Harris being the Senate President for the tiebreaker vote. However, they are favored to gain 1 more seat for a true majority of 51 to 49 as they await the outcome of the Georgia special Senate election on Tuesday, December 6th. Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock is going into the special election with more money in the bank, versus former NFL star Herschel Walker, who is a Trump-endorsed candidate. In a recent polling reported by Real Clear Politics, done by Fabrizio Anzalone, Warnock is ahead by 4% against Herschel Walker. If you recall, in the 2020 election, Raphael Warnock's win in the Georgia runoff election awarded the Democrats the Senate majority.
In the Nevada legislature, the Democrats will maintain their control of the state Senate and the state Assembly. In the Senate chamber, Democrats were able to pick up one more district into their side, and in the Assembly, they picked up 2 more seats. The question now is how they are going to negotiate on issues that is good for the state with a Republican governor comes January next year. Although the Nevada experience is much better than other states, when former Governor Sandoval was able to work with a Democratic legislature, Democrats hope the new governor, Joe Lombardo, will be as unifying as Governor Sandoval, who was also a Republican.
Clark County voters have elected Democrats to run the county departments, including Ken Diaz, who will be the new county treasurer. Lynn Goya was re-elected as county clerk, Debbie Conway as county recorder, Brianna Johnson as county assessor, also re-elected. And a new district attorney, Steve Wolfson, and county public administrator, Rita Page Reed. Clark County also has new judges that got elected. Maria Gall for Department 9, Anna Albertson for Department 11, Jennifer Swartz for Department 17, and Marie Paralide for Family Court Department A. Note that these judges ran as non-partisans. 2 of Clark County winners are of Filipino descent, Judge Marie Paralide and incoming County Treasurer Ken Diaz. And for the state legislature, representing Assembly District 14 in Clark County, it's Erica Mosca, who will be the first Filipino-American in the Nevada State Assembly. There were other Asian immigrants who got elected as new members of the Assembly, like Ruben De Silva, who is from India, and Duy Nguyen from Vietnam. Also, lots of representation from Hispanics and African American communities. A very ethnically diverse legislature. A true representation of what Nevada looks like in its present population. They make me proud to be Nevadan.
I feel the same way. In many comparisons, these kinds of representations happen mostly in blue states. In red states, minorities are not well represented because of voter suppressions through district gerrymandering. It really kills representation for the minorities.
When we come back, we will be joined by Assemblywoman-elect Erica Mosca here on The Pulse. So please stick around.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Now to join us in a discussion is a young lady, first-generation Filipino-American with whose parents immigrated from the Philippines, won the seat for the Nevada Assembly District 14, Erica Mosca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Erica, can you describe your experience running for the first time for the State Assembly?
Yes, it was a lot, but it was great. So for me, I had a primary election, so I did have to run and win my seat in June to then go on and run in November. It was a great experience getting to know the community. We knocked on over 5,000 doors. We got to go to many events, including AAPI and Filipino events, which were really fun. You have to go to all the endorsement interviews so you can get to know the people. But most importantly for us, we had over 200 individual volunteers. So we're really glad we had a reason to get the community together and help get out the vote up and down the ticket.
I can also say that there were about 4 of you who were running for the first time for the State Assembly, and 3 of you got elected. I believe Will Rucker was also a newcomer, but he fell short of winning that seat. Nice guy. And he's also a young, African American. That is a good thing that the Assembly are once again packed with new members. Whose seat were you running on?
Yes, can never be replaced is Assemblywoman Maggie Carlton. She's the first legislator to ever term out completely. So she was a senator, a state senator, before she was an assemblywoman. So I did actually run before in 2016, but this is the first time that I finally won.
Oh, okay. But was that the primary? Or
Yes.
the general election?
This is my first general election.
Okay, all right. As we mentioned a few times in several episodes of the Pulse, you are the first Filipino-American in the upcoming assembly. Will this be the beginning of a political career for you in the state?
Oh, great question. It's gonna be a start, so we have to see how it goes. For me, I'm just really committed to making sure people understand what it means to be Filipino. You know, I feel like they know about our food, but they don't know everything about our culture. And when you wear the Filipiniana, you know, people can ask questions. And so I'm just excited that it's a start for people to understand first out there that anyone can run, and that us as Filipinos, we need representation together, and that we agree on so many issues to help our communities and families.
I knew you were in Carson City last week. Was that some sort of orientation, or how did it feel to be in the chambers of lawmakers?
I have to say it was really, really amazing. I got to sit in the seat and really think about my dad had immigrated here from Manila when he was 17. He didn't know any English. He earned his GED, and he would never think in one generation his daughter could not only graduate from Harvard, but then become a state legislator. So I'm most proud that when I was sitting there and thinking about how far my family has come, that we really are an example of what's possible, and thanking him and my mom for really teaching me the values. Like so many of us Filipino families out there, it's not just about us being successful, it's about helping the whole community and being part of that.
All right, yeah. When are the committee assignments usually given to members, and which committee will you, or you believe you're going to get, or say, which committee are you eyeing for?
Yes, great question. So right now, all the legislators put in what they hope to get, and then we'll hear soon. As a new legislator, I'm really open to wherever I can be the most helpful. As my background has been in education, I did put that as one of them, but I'm really interested in budget issues as a nonprofit founder and someone who's ran a company basically for the last decade. So I hope I can just be put somewhere where I can be useful for everyone.
So as of now, it's not yet, not until the House or the State Assembly is already in session that you get your assignments in the committee, correct?
I think we'll find out before then, but it's going to be closer to the date.
I see. Have you been talking to your friends, re-electionists and freshmen, about the situation of having a legislature that is a Democrat and the governor who is a Republican?
Yes, we've definitely been talking about that, and I think for me, it's remembering that my district is both made up of Democrats, Republicans, independents, lots of people from different parties. So I hope it's being productive by being pragmatic and making sure, I know there are things that can help our community that we can all agree on, especially in East Las Vegas. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
All right, that's it would be quite challenging doing all the, you know, the balance, the maneuvers. We have a divided government at the state level. Is this something the Democrats can work with? I know there were years the legislature was in Democratic hands while Brian Sandoval was governor. What are your thoughts on this setup with incoming Governor Joe Lombardo?
Yes, I hope it's something that we can work on all together. My passion is education. I know that he has said that's something he wants to work on as well. So I think that could be something that's great common ground. I also think we have a precedent here in Nevada that so many people just want to work together.
Yes.
So like you said about the previous sessions, as a freshman, I'm going to have to learn it all. But I just know for me, I want to make sure that I come back home saying that I've done something. So I want to work together to make sure that happens.
It should be interesting to know that many of you who came from the background as educators are in our state senate and state assembly, which makes it Nevada legislature a unique or like one of a kind type of institution. Well, Erica, we are at the end of our show. In behalf of all of us here at the Pulse, with my co-host Emmy and the crew, we thank you for giving us the time to talk to you here at FilAmTV. We truly appreciate you, and best of luck and blessings to your new responsibility.
Thank you so much, and I just want to make sure I share my huge gratitude to all of you. We know that people pay attention to us as Asian Americans, as well as the Filipino community, when we come out, when we do things like vote, when we volunteer. So I see you, I appreciate you, and I would not be here if it was not for you.
Until next time, I'm Sam Buban. See you on the next episode here at The Pulse. Have a blessed week.